Today, we are diving into a project that wants to completely reboot banking by mixing some seriously powerful technology with a dose of artistic rebellion. It's called Dadabank, and honestly, it's one of the most fascinating ideas I've come across in a long, long time. So let me just start with this question. What if your bank was also an art collective? I know, it sounds totally absurd, right? But that is the exact question Dadabank is asking. And the answer, well, it might just change how we think about money and finance altogether. All right, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with a really big problem in modern banking, then look at a decentralized solution for it. After that, I'll introduce you to Dadabank itself, we'll get into how it actually works, and then, the best part, we'll uncover this awesome data twist that really gives it its soul. Okay, first up, banking's big problem. We all love how convenient digital finance is, but it comes with a hidden cost, one that we are all paying, whether we realize it or not. I mean, think about it. Your bank is literally disappearing. Those brick-and-mortar buildings are being replaced by apps and AI chatbots, and that means our money, our entire financial identity, isn't in some local vault anymore. Nope, it's in the cloud, and it's all controlled by just a handful of massive tech companies. And that's the trade-off, right? On one hand, we get these amazing, convenient apps, but on the other hand, all our data is piled up on centralized servers run by just a few companies. That creates a huge single point of failure and, brings up some pretty serious questions about surveillance and who actually owns our information. So, if centralization is the problem, what's the solution? Well, maybe it's the exact opposite. Let's jump into Section 2 and see how a new movement in tech is giving us a way to take back control. And that answer is something called DPIN. It stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. The idea is actually pretty simple. Instead of relying on these giant corporate server farms, we build networks that are powered by hardware that ordinary people like you and me contribute. So instead of one giant server farm, that single point of failure, picture this, a distributed, resilient network made up of thousands of small home servers. We're talking about an old laptop you have lying around, or maybe a tiny computer like a Raspberry Pi, all working together as one. I absolutely love this analogy because it makes the whole idea so clear. You're not just a customer anymore, you're a part of this system. It's like turning your old computer into a tiny independent bank branch that you own and operate right from your own home. Okay, so now that we have that DPIN framework in our heads, we can finally talk about the project that's being built right on top of it. Section 3, Introducing Dadabank, where finance meets rebellion. At its core, Dadabank is taking that whole DPIN concept and applying it directly to finance. The vision is simple but huge. Reboot banking using a decentralized network that is owned and operated by its users. This completely flips the traditional model on its head. Users, people like us, run small servers from home, storing and verifying our own financial data. This cuts out the reliance on big tech's cloud, and instead creates a system that's way more resilient because it's owned by the community. So that's the big, exciting vision. But you're probably wondering, how does this actually work in the real world? Let's get into the nuts and bolts in Section 4. For you, as a user, getting involved is actually pretty straightforward. You just set up a home node, you contribute some resources like storage space and processing power, and then you earn rewards for helping to support the whole network. And this isn't just a hobby. It's designed to be a totally self-sustaining economy. The system generates value through rewards for people providing the hardware, through small transaction fees on the network, and through staking yields for users who help keep the system secure. But maybe the biggest benefit of all is this. You actually own your data. It stays on your device, and you control who gets to see it with permissions that you can take back at any time. Plus, they use fancy cryptography, like zero-knowledge proofs, which basically let you prove something is true without revealing the secret information itself. Super private. Okay, so we've got the tech, and we've got the economics. But there's one more layer here, and it's the part that really gives Dadabank its unique identity. Let's talk about the data twist. So that name, Dadabank, is not random. It's a shout out to the Dada art movement from way back in the day. They were famous for being anti-establishment, a little bit absurd, and totally provocative. They even used to just give money away to strangers on the street, just to create a moment of chaos and joy. And Dadabank bakes that exact rebellious spirit right into its code. A portion of all the fees on the network are automatically and randomly sent out to fund what they call absurd and anti-materialist cultural grants. And this isn't some small gimmick. It's a core piece of the entire economic system. A full 20% of all network fees are set aside for these cultural grants. That means funding art and chaos just as important as rewarding the people who run the network. So what you end up with is a financial system that's not just about making a profit. It's a self-funding engine for creativity, for beautiful chaos, and for supporting community causes that a traditional bank would never, ever touch. And all of this leaves us with one final big question. Is this the future of finance? A more resilient, more transparent, user-owned system? Or is it just a brilliant experiment in beautiful, artistic chaos? Maybe the most interesting answer is that it could actually be both.